What's going on, everybody? It's a non-spoiler review for The Running Man. It is the not remake, but retelling of the Stephen King novel that was made a movie by Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the late 80s. This one stars Glen Powell as Ben Richards. You've got Edgar Wright directing this one. Kristian is actually played by Josh Brolin this time around. Coleman Domingo is the host of The Running Man. And there's some more characters that pop along the way. So, did my out of the theater reaction last night. And as I said, and I'll repeat a couple of those beats and then expand a little bit more. I went into this one really excited because I've been on kind of a Stephen King kick lately. I just realized because I've been watching Welcome to Derry, really enjoying that so far. I just did the It rewatch on my channel, and Ming just watched it for the first time in chapter 1. We're going to do it in chapter 2. And then I just watched The Long Walk, which I loved. So I've kind of been in this world. So I was like, okay, the tone of that, I'm looking forward to seeing what that version is, because that certainly wasn't the version of the 80s movie. And I loved the 80s movie, but it was a vehicle for Arnold. That's what it was. I mean, it had his one-liners, and it had the premise ultimately of the book, but for the most part, it was a vehicle for Arnold to just shine as the movie star that he was at that time. So I was like, okay, we're going to get a little bit of a darker tone here, a different type of Ben Richards, not the 80s action star, and I'm all for it. You got that kind of. When they did that in this movie, it works. There's some fun moments in this movie, and when I say fun, I mean creative in the way that they kind of set up the game, and once he kind of gets into the game, it moves, but then it kind of combines this other tone that almost is a little campy and a little bit more, because Edgar Wright isn't really necessarily campy, but bigger, if that makes sense. And it's as where the 80s movie was an Arnold vehicle, this is more of like an Edgar Wright vehicle at times, and it's combined with a different tone. So there's sometimes that it's really working, and I was engaged, and then I felt like I was almost watching a different movie, and that took me out of it. I don't think Ben Richards was developed enough. Like, we wanted to care about him. There's some really good moments and big moments that he has throughout it. And I was like, oh, if they just kind of developed him a little bit more and went off of this particular storyline, I think I'd really be invested in it, because they earn some moments, but other moments they don't. And you want to be kind of rooting for him. You see it in the trailer when he's just he's mocking the government. He's saying, I'm still here. And you're like, okay, yeah, I really want those moments to work. And they just move some things sometimes when you're on this road and they make this right-hand turn instead, and you're like, oh, what movie's this? I love Michael Cera. What we just watched, they just released the Barbie movie. When he's in this movie, the scene that he's in, not him, he's great, but the scene he's in seems like, okay, Edgar Wright wants to make this particular movie, and it just happens to be in The Running Man also, and it's like, what tone am I watching? And the Killian stuff, that didn't work as much, because you're building it up, and when I say that, I should say that the Killian stuff worked for a good portion of it, but by the time you finally wrap it up, you're like, oh, that wasn't as satisfying as I kind of hoped it was. But I will say, I think that you can have fun watching this movie in the theater. If you chose to go, I think there's gonna be a lot of people that come out, I don't know what you're talking about, I had a fun time and a good time. I liked watching it. I thought it was a good time. I wanted to go in there and I wanted to just have fun at the movies. I think there's going to be a ton of people that write that in the comments. And I could say, I get it. I was just expecting more, because the novel, which I have not read, but from everything that I hear about the novel itself, is that it is more serious, more dystopian, the kind of the tone that, say, The Long Walk was going to be, and it was really in succession. There was Long Walk, and then Running Man, and then Hunger Games and Battle Royale and all that stuff. So I was kind of hoping to get that vibe, and there are portions of that. But there's also sometimes there's certain dialogue that didn't work. There's some things that just don't make sense. There's some things that were a little confusing. Like, I'm like, wait, oh, that person's dead. Oh, wait, no, it was a dream? Wait, no, the person's dead. Who, are they alive? I don't even know. And I just gave up. But then there's other times I'm like, oh, okay, great. Let's keep watching this movie. And you're there for so long. And then, like I said, they make a right-hand turn and it just gets a little discombobulated. Glen Powell is good. I think it's not him. I think everybody at times shines. But what I was going to say about not him, with him, everybody also screams and yells and overacts a little bit. But it's everybody in the movie. I think it was a note from Edgar Wright. There's a lot of times where it's just like, it seems like it's building, and then out of nowhere, the build stops and it just, woo, and you're like, whoa. That I don't know if you guys got there yet, because you didn't really build up enough to get there, and I don't feel that emotion the way that you want me to because you're yelling. And then there's other times I'm like, oh man, that's kind of moving. And Glen Powell does a good job as Ben Richards for this version of Ben Richards. He does. Is he the butts in the seats movie star they want him to be? I don't know if he's earned that yet. Doesn't mean he shouldn't get his opportunities, because he's good. He's charismatic, and he does a really good job in this. He does a certain thing on a plane, I'll say, that he's fantastic in, for sure. Coleman Domingo, who I think shines in every scene he's in, is kind of wasted. He's hit, even him. The host doesn't really get much to do, but when he does, is Coleman Domingo. He's great, but he just doesn't have enough development there. Brolin has a little bit more to do. Katie O'Brien, another one who's been doing a lot more, just liked her a lot in Christie. She doesn't really get much to do either. And then there's sometimes when you're like, oh, this is going to go bad for this person. And then even if something does go bad for them, they don't even kind of take it serious. And you're like, oh, should I not take that serious? So it's kind of disappointing overall. But like I said, it looks good. There's some fun stuff with the game itself. But I'm gonna go 2.9 out of 5 for The Running Man. Now, like I said, I could totally see a bunch of you guys absolutely disagreeing with me and having a fun time with it, and I really hope you do. But put your thoughts in there. Let me know. Comment, subscribe, like, all that. Thanks. I always love talking to you guys about Cash App, and you've been smart. You guys have been signing up. Really smart. Because you don't want to fall for scams. It happens to everybody. You just feel, oh, man, it happened to me one time. And I remember just going, and I actually left my house to head to a convenience store because they asked me to, and I realized halfway through, oh, what am I doing? And I fell for it. And people fall for this stuff all the time. So the good news about Cash App is when you get the card, not only do you get an access to a ton of perks and benefits like early access to nationwide concert pre-sales or discounts on popular brands, but you have an extra security with the power to instantly lock or unlock your card right from your phone in just one tap. So if something like really shady is going on and it pops up on the card, Cash App got your back, automatically declines the purchase, sends you, say, hey, listen, something's going on here. Is this you? So you can rest assured knowing that your account balance is protected 24/7 by fraud monitoring. Spend with peace of mind today. You got to order a Cash App card in the app, or you just go to cash.app/card. Now, for a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 off if they use the code SECURE10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank. Member FDIC. Discounts and promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosure. Cash App being here. We'll see you soon.